Hello everyone, welcome to the config and tech video for King's Quest I, Quest for the Crown. Get my notes and folder open. I'll explain what this is in a minute. In this video we'll be setting up King's Quest I, Quest for the Crown, general and advanced settings where needed. This will hopefully put the game in the best playable state it can be. Any links that are covered in this video will be in the description below. Some important information here. I do ask that you watch my 20-minute video titled ScummVM Configuration. This video shows how to set up ScummVM's base settings. You will need to do this before you set up an individual game. The link to this video will be in the description. This video will show you how to set up King's Quest I game-specific settings. Information and setup. Game data. It doesn't really matter which version of the game you have. You can use the original disk data, King's Quest collection on Steam or GOG.com. You just need the original game data files. As these games are old and designed for either MS-DOS or earlier versions of Microsoft Windows, you can't really install and play these games the traditional way. Let's start by creating a King's Quest I folder and put your raw files in it. So go ahead and do that. Now we'll get to this ScummVM program. ScummVM is not really an emulator. It is more of a front end for loading games properly in a modern PC environment. You will need this software to play this game. ScummVM is considered the replacement for using DOSBox. It is lightweight and easy to use software once it is set up properly. So please download and install ScummVM from the link below. On the main page, click the Downloads link in the main menu on the right. Also check out the compatibility link in the documentation menu on the right to learn about other games that can be played through ScummVM. Once you have your King's Quest I files ready in a folder and you have installed ScummVM, go ahead and run ScummVM and I will run the software too. I'll show you how to set up King's Quest I. So now we're going to get into the setup of this program. This is the install folder. Once you've installed it, you'll have this file. You won't have anything else because this I made, and everything else I've hidden in the folder because we're not going to be talking about it. So run your executable. If you want to look at how I've set up mine, you can see a bunch of different games I have in here. So I made a games folder in the folder where ScummVM is, and then I made a King's Quest folder, and then these are just files I'll link in the description. I think of the first gameplay video is where I link these, and these here will all be referencing the games that run through ScummVM. So this would be the King's Quest I. It's not a mod, it's a main game version, and this is the original one, and this is my remake version. So for the original that we're playing, the EGA, you should have files that look similar to this. You may not have some of these, you may have some different ones, but something similar to this. So make sure that's in a folder, and that is in your ScummVM root folder where your executable is. Just do it the same way I did. We're going to go ahead and run the program here. This is what it looks like, and this is what your list will look like once you've set all your games up. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, please watch my configuration video for ScummVM. That will show you how to set up the global options, all of these tabs and everything for the program itself. I am just going to cover in this video how to add King's Quest I to that initial setup. So you'll basically click Add Game, and it will ask you to locate the directory with game data. So then you would go to your games folder in there, King's Quest 1, wherever you have the EGA version, the original. You'll choose it, and it will basically add it in here, and it'll pop up a screen like this. And from here you can relabel it. I just relabeled it this way so that I could distinguish it. This is just indicating the type of sound setting I'm using in this game, because some use a PC Junior sound, others use a Roland synthesizer. But these are the settings that you'll want to basically mirror for King's Quest 1. Use original save and loading screens just so it feels authentic to the originals. This game never had mouse support. This messes with the font. It says there when you hover over it, I think it did. Something popped up. Enables mouse support, allows you to use mouse for movement and in-game menus. Uses Hercules. Goes away before I can read it. High-res font when font file is available. Pause when entering commands, meaning when you type to do something in the game pauses, or if you don't want it to pause. So I don't want it to pause. I'm using original font. I'm just playing with a keyboard because that's how this is meant to be played. And I'm going to use original save and load screens, graphics. Check the override box. I suggest that you put this on default. Trying to remember which thing it defaults to. I actually forget. I think the SDL, which is basically DirectX, is what it defaults to. Try default. If things don't look correct to you, then put it on SDL surface. You can leave all the rest of this on default. No shaders, none of that. Check for aspect ratio correction. This will keep the 4:3 aspect ratio that the game is supposed to be in. Otherwise, it'll stretch the game. I recommend full screen mode. No filter graphics, VSync, just so you can lock it at the correct frame rate. All these can stay on default. Key maps, these are just what I've set things to. There's nothing crazy or anything. Might as well go ahead and set it to what I have it set at. Audio for this game, the best sound is IBM PC Junior. So check override, put it on this, leave that on default. This can just stay on 60. The game doesn't have any speech anyway, or subtitle. And then volume, I override this and I max it out as high as it'll go. 256. If speech was available, you could adjust this as well. These will probably default to 192, so just go ahead and push them to 256. We're not using MIDI, so leave it unchecked, nothing selected. We're not using a Roland MT32 synthesizer, so leave all that unchecked. Paths, default save path, no extra path. And then game path is just dictating where you have the game files that you picked to create this over here in the list to begin with. So that basically covers those. I'll go back through here again. Basically covers how those should look. At least putting them at these will get you at a good starting point to make further adjustments if something is not working out for you with these settings. It's a good baseline to start with. You can just see the other games in my list here, and how I've named them and what they are. This is a remake of King's Quest 1, and then King's Quest 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a version, Windows version, and then a DOS version, and the DOS version is apparently the best version, probably for the sound. Same with 6. I guess it's not true, because this one says the Roland's the best, but this one says, well, they're both Roland, but Roland MT32 is the best on 5, and Roland SC88 is the best on 6, so it just depends on the game. I've read that somewhere online of which was the best. So then you got 7, and then Police Quest games, there's an original and a remake, then 2, 3, and 4. King's Quest, or Space Quest 1 original, which we've already played on the channel. You can find it in the playlist section of my channel. There's a remake for 1, and then Space Quest 2, 3, 4, and this one apparently is the best version, and then 5 and 6. So I've just named them according to whether they're EGA, VGA, DOS, CD, whatnot, and then what audio source they used or used to get the best sound. And that about covers this. So I'll exit out of this. So with ScummVM and your game set up now, you should be able to play it just fine. And I do recommend you go to this folder path for ScummVM configuration files. So it'll be something like this on your computer. Your name, that needs to be your username, because it will be different from mine. So just put your username in here, go here, and I advise you to back up this folder as it contains ScummVM and game list configurations that we just made. So you won't lose everything just set up if you have to format or something happens. That's where it saves creating games in that list. Alright, so the next section here is options in game. These being old Sierra games, they don't have anything in game itself to really configure as far as graphics or audio adjustments. That is all done through ScummVM. Regarding how to adjust anything in the game and the controls, we will cover that once we start gameplay videos. So thank you for watching the Config and Tech video. I hope you enjoy the classic Sierra game, King's Quest 1. In the next video, we'll be getting into the gameplay. So thank you very much. We'll see you there. Bye.